Darin, and welcome to Yuma Center for Spiritual Living. You don't know it, but I saw most of you drive up this morning as I was in my little office, and I love that. And I was thinking, it's a pretty quiet little building all week long, and then all of a sudden on Sunday, here are all these cars. It's kind of like when you go by the barbecue restaurant that has a lot of vehicles, you think, well, they must be serving something good there. And that touches me, that it's not about popularity, it's about impact. That's what we want for this center, for it to be a beneficial presence, an impactful presence in the lives of people who are here in person and here online. So know that every time you make the choice to aim your car or your browser toward Yuma Center for Spiritual Living, we are blessed. You are this center, and we're grateful for it. And it's beautiful that through Facebook, no matter where in the world you are, you can connect with us. And I want to point out that this morning, as always, Petronella Newhart is our online live streaming hostess, as she is every Sunday. Yay! What's extra special is that she's doing this at 8 p.m. her time in Bucharest, Romania. So we don't practice guilt here, but I will say, even when she's in Eastern Europe, she doesn't miss church. Pretty darn good, so thank you, Petronella. And thank you to everyone here. Let's kick off our service and song. Stand up and let's sing.
With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. I rise with a burst of energy. I rise, I rise. I rise, I rise. I rise, I rise. I rise, I rise.
Boy, with a burst of energy, that could be our hashtag. I love that. That's how we roll around here, because if we believe what we believe, why would we be shy and quiet about it? We are alive and we want everyone to hear it. Thank you for that message. And now for a message by Dr. Ernest Holmes, something we share each Sunday at this point in the service. I'd like to welcome to the pulpit, Judy Gresser. Take it away. Thank you.
Good morning, my spiritual family.
Good morning.
Good morning. So today's reading is from a book, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, Can We Talk to God? Ernest Holmes. So this is right kind of at the end of the book. Lack of abundance is not part of the heavenly kingdom. Is this on?
Yes.
Yeah. Is not part of the heavenly kingdom. It would be a contradiction of the divine nature to think of God as being impoverished. But humankind is impoverished because we do not see the abundance around us. We do not interpret the universe as a spiritual system. We do not recognize the Spirit as the limitless source at the back of all supply. In declaring that the Spirit is the source of supply, you state an eternal verity. But you must follow this declaration with another declaration, that this source is now your supply. The idea you use in your treatment is that Spirit manifests as your supply according to your concept of it. You make the specific statement that you are rightly guided and divinely protected. You know that every good thing is attracted to you, and that everything that makes life full and complete is now manifest in what you are doing, where you are right now, at this present time, today. Statements similar to this cause the one source of supply to take definite form, and the element of time necessary to produce this form is also a thing of consciousness. For there certainly is neither time nor space without awareness. The action of your statement is in what you call the present time, but it's always today. Hence, the fulfillment of the completion of life is today. The opportunity is today. The door is open now. And so it is.
And so it is.
Good morning. I can have my good-looking couple over here help me with the flames. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that people of all faiths and lifestyles, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as Dixie lights the healing candle, please say silently, out loud, or put in Facebook comments the names of those you would like to hold in the healing flame of God's eternal love. with our eyes closed and our hearts and minds wide open, we remember, we recognize that there is one power in the universe. There is oneness in it all. One power that is the sky, the earth, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink. One power that moves through everything and everyone, and that is the power of God. And because there is only this oneness, we are all one with God. As we remember this, we recognize the power of our thoughts, the power of the words that we speak, the power of our actions. And as we affirm the well-being of our loved ones, we put these affirmations into the law of the universe. We affirm wellness for those who we know, for those who we love. We affirm wellness for ourselves. And we affirm the well-being of the people that we may not even know, knowing that we are all part of this collective. We speak into the universe love, compassion, kindness, well-being, peace, and all the good God qualities. I am so grateful to know this truth, to know that this applies to all without exception. And I release these words onto the universe, knowing that these affirmations are becoming law as we speak. And so it is.
And so it is.
And now we have Reverend Darin Fenger. to give us our talk today.
Thank you. Fenger. Been hearing that for a long time. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Yeah, let's do the next slide. You're made for miracles. Are you ready for that? That is my talk today, and it's funny because I was originally going to have the word magic up there, and I thought, you're kind of known for being a huckster. They may expect you to do some magic tricks, which I know not of. I don't know about magic in those kind of terms, but I do know about miracles because I've seen many. And I saw one in New Mexico. Here's that story. Back when I was a newspaper reporter living in New Mexico, my friend Gloria told me about a miracle in a town nearby called Lake Arthur. So we hopped in my car and we went up there looking for this little miracle. The trick is, it was internationally known, but this is when the internet was at its infancy. So there wasn't really an easy way to ask about it. And we were both kind of shy and sheepish to ask about what we wanted to see. So we were probably on our third local that we met in Little Lake Arthur. And finally the guy rolled his eyes and he said, "Are you here to see the tortilla?" We were in Lake Arthur, New Mexico to see the tortilla. But not just any tortilla, but the shrine of the miraculous tortilla. It was amazing. And what it was is a woman named Maria Rubio. We got to meet her that day. In 1977, was searching for a miracle. Her husband was drinking terribly. She was pregnant, but experiencing all kinds of difficulties with that pregnancy. And she said in her prayers that she was calling in and needing and deserving a miracle. And it happened one morning when she was making breakfast. She turned over the tortilla that she was frying, and she saw on it the face of Jesus Christ. Now, no matter what we think that means, she knew in her heart that was a miracle. And it didn't end there. Her husband did quit drinking almost immediately. The pregnancy ended up being okay. The child was born and totally healthy. And not only did she know that was a miracle, she shared that with the rest of us. Since 1977, people from all over the country, indeed all over the world, news crews included, documentaries, all these people, probably even celebrities, went to see her little shed in the back of her backyard that they would open so reverently and show this miraculous tortilla in this little box at the window, and it was all packed in with little pieces of cotton that looked like clouds, and it was amazing. And of course, when we got back to Carlsbad, everyone said, "Well, what do you believe? But what do you guys believe? And what do you not just bigger than that about a miraculous tortilla? What do you believe about miracles?" It's a wonderful, juicy topic. Because if you would have asked me back then, as I was driving back to Carlsbad, what I thought about miracles, I would have said what I think a lot of people would say. Miracles are something big, they're rare, they're magical. And they don't happen to be. They happen to celebrities. They happen to people who become celebrities because they're so rare. But if you would ask me now, okay, I would tell you, now what do I believe about miracles? They are simply examples of the universe acting as it should. The universe has so much to offer us, so much it wants to give us, but we need to ask for it. We are so free that God won't even force goodness upon us. We need to ask for it. We need to expect it. And what's beautiful is miracles aren't magic, they just feel that way. When we can open up in ourselves as the instruments we are, the spiritual instruments we are, and let the universe do its work through us. It's our job to understand this, that miracles can be something that we all experience. We just prayed, thank you, Elia. We prayed for our beloveds that everyone can receive and experience a miracle. Because last week we talked about refrigerator magnets, and God bless you, Terry. Terry said, I've been telling everybody that they can find messages on the refrigerator magnets. So thank goodness he follows that up with the full statement. So they don't think Terry's gone crazy. About our message about we're either repelling or attracting. Well, if we're attracting our good, How about we have a really wide stance and our arms really wide open to really receive? Not this, but big. For us to have an idea that miracles are something that could happen to us and that we normalize them. Because what's funny is, okay, if you would have asked me that, I would have probably been in my 30s or 20s probably, when I met the tortilla, and I would have had that jaded remark on miracles. But if you would have asked me as a kid, or if we could go back in time and ask you as a kid what you believed in miracles, didn't you kind of think they were every day? As a kid, were you surprised? Would you have been surprised if you saw a sprite or a fairy, walking along the glen? I think we looked for it. We knew what to look for. Was it easier when you were a kid to believe that miracles could show up in your life? And if anything is changing your belief in that, what do you think has changed? Is it in your beliefs? Is it in, how did that change? Because what's funny, people say, oh, kids are so silly. They lack information of the material world. They believe in all these silly things. And I think it's the other way around. Yeah, sure, kids need information of the physical world, but spiritually, they come preloaded. Like when you get a computer that has all the programs already on it, that's how kids are. And unfortunately, we get out into this world and we unlearn some of that stuff, or we start to pretend that we don't really believe it. Then we don't go looking for it. And then guess what doesn't come into our lives? These big, beautiful things. So my question for you this morning, what could you understand better or heal to allow yourself to open up to more miracles in your life? For you to have an understanding that miracles can be a totally normal, regular part of the menu of what we're being offered. What would that be? What shift would it take for you to open up? And again, not just receive that for yourself, but for everyone you pray for. Like, it's beautiful. Because what we think a miracle is impacts what we experience, doesn't it? Our beliefs are our contract with the universe. So there's times people say, I'll get a trickle of good. That's what I can expect. I'm like, wow, there it is. There's your contract with the universe. And the universe says, okay, that's how it is. But I love that in my last class, somebody explained how they had a belief in lack in the past. They had a healing and a realization of deserving more. And they said, yes, I've upgraded my contract. That's beautiful. That we can upgrade what we believe at any time to bring more good in. And it's not being selfish. Why is it not being selfish? Well, you're being shy now. Don't freak me out. Because it's unlimited pie, isn't it? This is an unlimited universe. It is not even, during class we had a rhubarb pie, and it was restrained. I'm like, okay, this is a physical pie, there's only so many pieces. Thank you, Connie, it was delicious. But you had to show restraint. That was a limited commodity. It is not a limited commodity in our universe. All the love, the peace, the joy, that's what we're talking about at this buffet of the universe. Balance and peace and connection, love and friendship and jobs and travel opportunities and fun. That's all that can come into our experience if we let it in. So it doesn't make sense that we wouldn't let it in, does it? But what happens? We grow up. We learn. We learn maybe our parents or our society's shortcomings, or that it's really humble and better to expect less, to want less. And it becomes a really complicated, noisy world, doesn't it, when we grow up? Sometimes we're too busy surviving to even think about thriving or having or experiencing anything big. We forget our worth. As kids, we know it, and we're not egotistical when we're kids, but we expect mom and dad to take care of us, the universe will take care of us, God's got my back, and that it's all easy. But then something changes, doesn't it? And thankfully, again, we can heal that, unlearn it, relearn it, and upgrade our contract with the universe. And maybe our religion sold us a funny idea of miracles. Again, very rare, probably not for you, you dirty sinner. You know? Although we know, any of us who were told we were naughty when we were young in church, probably a compliment. Probably actually they were focusing on something that we were probably doing right. But in churches will tell you, that somebody was able to work a miracle, almost like working a magician's trick. No, you receive, you embody, you let it come through. We're conduits for all this beautiful, cosmic energy, this high consciousness of God that wants to come through us. There's no working to make it happen. It's allowing it, it's believing it. And I know people say, well, that sounds easy. Well, it's clear. Easy, maybe not. Again, that's our practice. But the beautiful thing is it's not just closed or open. As we heal, as we grow, we open up more and we receive more. And if we doubt, is it okay that we doubt? Trick question.
Yes.
Of course it is. We're learning. And I love that we can say to the universe, hey, convince me. What's going on here? Show me. And that it's not just okay that we have doubt or we have questions. I always take it as a sign of real good spiritual health because you're engaged. You're engaged in finding out what you believe, what's working, what's not working in your life. And that doubt is temporary. And what's beautiful is when we heal doubt, sometimes it's shapow, in comes the flow. Other times when it's in our best interest, it does take a little bit longer, and that's only because there's some healing to be done. And when we can clean that up, clear that way within us, in that area, we'll be blessed in all areas. The universe will not rush us when it's not in our best interest. We have a little bit of time. So that we have time to learn that miracles are normal. And that's not downplaying miracles, like, miracles every day, boo, they're common. No, they are, they're everywhere. But it's not just this big, mighty stuff that we always think they can be. They can be every day, and not just for the other guy. Magic is normal, miracles are normal. The only thing that is lacking is our belief sometimes. Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, often pointed out, that we call things miracles, those things in life that we don't understand. Like I said about magic, that magic isn't some supernatural trick, it's the deliberate and conscious use of our minds with the universal creative power. The universe that's saying, hey, what would you like to create? Our minds say we want to create this. That's what magic is. But we think sometimes when we don't understand something, we try to say it's something miraculous, something different, something magical. Think about in history what people didn't understand in humanity. If somebody knew how to use the arts, say like witches. Witches knew about science. Witches were wise women usually. They knew herbs, they knew midwifery. And when they knew something and could experience something that everybody else couldn't, what did everyone say? Must be the devil. Get the kindling, because they didn't understand. Hey, that's a compliment. I often think of me and my girlfriend, like, oh, we would be toast, a couple of years ago. That's how you know you're living well, when you would have been the heretic. But how wonderful now that we can understand that magic is, again, just the beautiful operation of the universe in a way that we didn't understand before, but now we do understand it. And once we understand it, we can do it again to allow it to come into our lives more. Because miracles are better than magic, and magic has that really good PR factor going for it. To work a miracle, to experience a miracle, you don't need to know a trick. You don't have to do a trick. Magic is usually done by one dude, and the rest of us applaud while they do it. Miracles are for everybody. And humanity doesn't need anything more to tempt itself into believing that it's disconnected, that it's not worthy. That's why the magic of miracles is so beautiful, because it's empowering. It tells us that this universe is ready to give when we make up our minds to receive a magical life. What would that look like to you? How would a magical life look to you? How would it be different than what you're experiencing now? How would it feel different than it does now. And what you are saying on the inside, what you're hearing on the inside, is that beautiful healing, that beautiful work, that beautiful play, that spiritual opportunity to experience just that, to allow that to come through. It's the power of belief. And sometimes people think that's just being positive when we say the power of belief, or that's like bumper sticker knowledge. But humanity's always known the power of belief. But often, you look back in history, one of my degrees is in sociology, understanding that how groups of people used to think. They understood the power of belief, but it was often disguised as ritual. It was disguised with all kinds of funny little talismans and swinging the cat and wearing the Buddha hat and burning this herb and drinking that tea. And I love that because often when you look at those beliefs, at the core is the real thing. When I lived in New Mexico, people said, if you had an illness, you had to do all these things, like put beans in vodka, put them under your armpits, and then take lettuce and boil it in hot milk, and then you'll sleep better. Well, hot milk, there it is. And some of the things we've done in the past, I think humanity we needed to think something external to us was giving us our good. We needed to think that it was the thing we were doing, the thing we were burning or wearing, that gave us our good. But all along, it's been the belief. So we get to be free of all that. We get to know that we don't need baubles. We don't have to do anything. We don't need anyone else. We can bring it in and just know it. Recently I had reason, and I'll explain the reason, to think back to the movie. Have you ever seen the movie Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil? Yeah. Great movie, oh my gosh. Where the dude meets the voodoo queen lady out in the New Orleans cemetery, and she goes, "Did you bring the shine of dimes? Did you bring the water that ain't seen no pipe?" And he said yes. And it was hard for him to find water that ain't seen no pipe. And he said to her, "How do you know that water ain't seen no pipe?" And she said, "I don't, but you do." It was his belief in it that gave it power. Did it have anything to do with the water or the dimes? No, it was his belief. He was believing, therefore he was open. What made me think of that was the recent baby blessing. Petronella said, "Anything I need to bring?" And I felt like the voodoo lady. "Bring me a jar of water from the Colorado River." And I thought to myself, she goes, "Here it is." And I said, "Is that from the Colorado River?" And she said, "It is." And I thought, ha, water that ain't seen no pipe. I believed her, therefore it had the power. But it's interesting how this power, this belief, if it's true, why hasn't it been known by everybody? Why haven't they told us this in school and in church? Humans and groups have been stingy with the power, stingy with the miracles, clutching on to the magic. And I think humanity is done with that. Aren't you ready to know this and benefit from it? How about teaching it to somebody else? Or to including other people in your prayers, to know that they too can have this. Again, unlimited pie, that everyone can be lifted up and inspired, that their needs can be taken care of, whatever their needs are, that they can enjoy full lives. And not only does that not take away from us, it blesses us. It's like, what do I want to think? Like our auras are like perfume. When we are open and lovely and lifting up in a beautiful vibration, it's contagious. The one rotten apple spoils the rotten apples. One shiny metaphysical apple, can lift the rest of them up. So no matter, let's turn that around. So when you receive greatly, know that you not only deserve that, but you can lift other people up. And it's direct. That's a big thing about Science of Mind, that we get what we deserve, what we're wanting to manifest directly, and there's no middleman. You don't need me. You don't need anybody else. The equipment, the spiritual hardware you have to do this was built in. And despite the name of a very popular metaphysical documentary, there are no secrets. People like to say, "I have a secret and I've written a book, and for $20, I'll tell you what the secret is." Then often you're like, "Wait a minute, I already knew that." And I love that because Dr. Holmes is very clear about this, and I think people who get into this teaching are very clear How could there be any spiritual resource out there that is not available to everybody? How could it be hidden? How could it be kept away from everybody? And I think sometimes we just see people use it really well and we can think, gosh, they must know a secret, but they're just using it well. And a good role model we have for that is a lady named Helen Haddell. Now, if you look her up online, she's always used as the story for maybe somebody who's selling a book on positive thinking or being clear about different thoughts, or the Silva Mind Control organization always holds her up as an example. Helen was known as the woman who could win anything. She is famous, I think she's passed on now, but she was famous for having won 5,000 contests in a row. She started off with small things like just a housewife, like a mixer, an outboard motor for her husband's boat, that kind of stuff. And she worked all her way up to winning trips to Europe. And she even won an entire house made of formica, if you remember what that stuff is from the 70s, which is kind of funny. But everybody thought that Helen had some kind of trick. It's easy for us to think, well, that's kind of witchcraft. But she knew the power of the mind. She read books that we read and that Holmes read, and she had what she called her spec method. She said to select it, project it, expect it, collect it. So select it, we know about that. What is our choice? What do we want? Project it, meaning to project our choice, to hold that image in our minds, to hold that image in our hearts, to order that up to the universe. And expect it. That's one of the best things, consciousness of expectancy. When we decide that we're ready to experience something, look for it. Be ready for it. Be ready to welcome that in and collect it to get your goodie. She said it, and this doesn't sound too radical now, but gosh, back in the 60s, this would have been radical. She said anything that the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Well, there's still a lot of people who don't believe that. But for that time, that was radical. And she wrote a book, it's kind of neat. She called it The Name It and Claim It Game with Maneuvers for Witchcraft. Ah, that's cute. So she was a witch. See? She made it happen. But couldn't we apply that same thing to select what we want, to project that image, to expect it, and then collect it? Because it is kind of like magic that we're doing. I love that magicians make things appear and disappear. In our work, we make doubt disappear, shame, pain, disconnection, awful chapters in our life story that we're ready to be done with, or it's so bad we're starting a whole new book. They make things appear too. So for us, relationships, healings on the inside, healings in our experiences, jobs, everything, we can make that appear too, as if by magic. And I love that instead of magic, it's really our belief plus universal creative law. Instead of a spell, we have prayers. And instead of wands, we have intentions that we can make that magic happen. Often we just need to open up. And one of my favorite examples of getting people to open up to what they really want, I have a friend, Scott, who's a psychologist, and he worked a lot with children. And one time he showed me his office, it was after hours, and there was a Santa Claus suit. I'm like, oh my God, what's that? And he said that he had a colleague who looked like Santa, who dressed like Santa. It's kind of heartbreaking. And he put the kids on his lap for them to open up. That's rough, because they were often there for not very happy reasons. For Scott, he said he would give them this magic wand. It was a tube filled with oil and glitter, and he told them that they could tap it on his desk 3 times for 3 wishes. And he said it was heartbreaking. Well, if that was what they were in there for. Because it was always like, new pony, trip to Disneyland, and then the 3rd thing was the big thing. But they could open up. They had the belief that whatever it is that they truly wanted, they could wrap that wand and it would come forward. And it was from that deep place. Either it was something painful or just something big and beautiful they maybe wouldn't have asked for in another way. So what do we really want? What helps us open up to really access what we're wanting? Dr. Holmes wrote a book called You're Aladdin's Lamp Within You. Remember Aladdin's lamp? You rub it and out comes the genie and he says, hey, what do you want? It's an illustration, and he's using his sense of humor, but it's a good illustration that there's something within us. You don't have to rub it. And out it comes and asks, what do you want? And he said our Aladdin lamp is our mind, because our minds are where spirit lives. It's where spirit / God / universe lives within us, personalized as us. So it's not just like this God in us. We're one. That's one of us. And he says in his book, Dr. Holmes, he says, somewhere within you is the correct answer to every problem in your life. Somewhere within you is the power to live. And somewhere within you is the faith to believe. You are Aladdin. God has already given you the light. The genie will spring forth at your command, and you can enter into the good you desire if you believe that you can. What a wonderful illustration for when we are ready to do this work, to remember that, to go within with the faith of Aladdin with his lamp. And the big things for us to remember, that there's no big and no small to the universe. Make it big. Make it big. We can ask for they say a golf club or a country club. Universe just says, hey, okay. And that the power is here for us to use in all ways and at all levels. And again, we don't need to make anything happen. We don't need to create anything, to force anything. All we're doing is we're telling the energy, take this shape, take this form, and the universe does it for us. And for us to remember that we're not being egotistical, because everyone can be a magician. And when we're done doing this work, we can celebrate by saying together,
And
so it is. But what does that mean? It means this is done. My work is done. I have planted my seeds of affirmation, and I let them be there for God to do the work. I trust. I allow. I set back. I celebrate. And it's beautiful that this all comes from ceremonial magic. The Druids, when they were done with the prayer, boom, boom, to stomp their staffs, or to somebody, people would clap. It's a way of knowing our prayer is done and we can celebrate. Our prayer is done and we can release it. Because what does a magician say at the end of his or her trick? Ta-da. Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, ta-da. That's one of them. Or abracadabra. And what does that mean?
And so it is.
Old Arabic. It's in line with, and so it is. It means, and as I speak, so do I create. That's science of mind. That's what we teach. Abracadabra sounds like we're being fun and we're playing magician. But we create according to how we speak. It's a release and it's a celebration of something beautiful, of a miracle. So let's go back to Lake Arthur, New Mexico again. Did a miracle happen there?
Yes.
I think so. And here's what got me. I was like, okay, don't let on that you think it's kind of cheesy. Be respectful. And then I cry easily. Don't get emotional. And Mrs. Rubio was busy. I mean, the whole world shows up at her house. There's no signs. It's just a house. There's a shed in back with this miraculous tortilla. And by the way, people say, oh, there are a lot of miraculous tortillas out there. This was the first one. 1977. This is the OG of the Jesus tortillas. This was the first one. Now there are other places, but this was the first one. And when we went there, Mrs. Rubio was busy, but she had her daughter take us back to the shed. And we're talking, and I said my age, and she said her age, which was a little bit younger. And I started doing the math. I said, what year were you born? She smiled, 1977. She was the difficult pregnancy. She was the baby that was struggling to make it in the womb through those 9 months when the miraculous tortilla appeared. And as soon as she saw it in my face, she was like, started smiling. She's like, oh my God, you're the miracle. It's her. It wasn't the tortilla. It was the husband who quit drinking. It was this girl who got to be born healthy and whole. And the mama, look at that mama's heart and her selflessness, that her family was okay and that they were healed, and that was her miracle. And here's a little bit of a release. When I went back on a website to see the page for this on Roadside America, it said, miracle closed. What's the matter? That little miracle, that miraculous tortilla, never left that shed except for one time when Mrs. Rubio let her grandson take it to school for show and tell. And he dropped it. And it shattered. And it's all no more. But instead of being sad, what's beautiful is the miracle didn't end. The miracle wasn't that anyway. That was a tool that we could use to open up and to feel that magic. So nothing bad has happened. Instead, we've all been reminded what a miracle can be, that we can call them into our lives. And it doesn't need to be some great romance. How about if our miracle for us is loving ourselves for the first time? Maybe it is a trip off to Europe. Or maybe it's being at home in our own skin. It's whatever is miraculous and beautiful to us that it can be. And in Science Mind, sometimes we make these big statements. We always talk in big ways. Well, first, it's true, but it's for us to open up at that cosmic level and for it to come in. And what's beautiful is, am I promising you a perfect life immediately? No, although it could. How about a better life? How about a happier life? An easier life? One where you do feel love from the inside for yourself, love of others, that your needs are met, and that you know your creative power with God. So whatever has been calling to you during this talk to bring into your life as a miracle, the time is now. Open up, let it in, and experience it. And let's close our eyes and go into prayer. As we remember that there is indeed a miraculous power and presence within us, within everyone, as this universe, and that is God, the one creative energy, always listening to us, always saying, "What now, beloved, shall we create?" This is a loving God. It is a patient God. It is a God that understands in its electric intelligence that we are bit by bit learning and healing to allow more of our belief to be revealed. And as it is revealed, we receive more from this universe, more in power, in love, in support, in inspiration. And the flow just becomes greater. And again, we remember that we can use this power that we are meant to enjoy, that we're meant to benefit from, for our loved ones, for the world, that we can be the conduit for joy to be flowing through and into the world, for a conduit for love, a conduit for peace, for abundance and prosperity. We are called to do this, to lift up ourselves, to lift up the world. And this morning, whatever it is you're feeling yourself called to experience in your miraculous life, bring that now into your spiritual practice. Speak your word of truth to the universe. Know that you are heard, know that the answer is yes, and then expect to receive this miracle, this beautiful, big, fantastic, and absolutely normal experience meant just for you. Life is beautiful indeed, and it's miraculous indeed, and so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, beloveds. Thank you.
Yes, start it one more time, please. I'm nervous. That's all right.
Okay.
Love you, Danny. We know we can get a do-over. It's all right. We know people.
Absolutely. Family.
Absolutely. Ready? Yes. I'm gonna lay my burden down now. I'm gonna leave it on the ground. This freedom I am feeling can't be found when I'm looking down. everything. I am one with 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 everything. This world is bright and holy. Heaven is in my sight. All my troubles try to find me, but they can't when I'm on this cosmic flight. I feel right everywhere now, and all I want to do is sing, not a single solitary care now. I am one with everything. 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 I know some healing love can bring. We are one with everything. We are unstoppable just like the wind, and anything is possible from God within. The root is good, and each of us here. The nature of love is in everyone, everywhere. What spirit originates, spirit orchestrates. Willingness, gratitude, create your faith. One power, one people, under one sun. Peace, love, joy, and freedom. I am one with everything. I am one with everything. This peace that penetrates me moves quicker than a laser beam. Oh, the devil cannot faze me, 'cause I am one with everything. I am one with everything. I am one with everything.
Yeah!
Okay.
Awesome.
We are one with everything. And that is a powerful statement. It is time for our conscious giving. If you will repeat with me our affirmative giving blessing. Is that right?
Yeah. Divine love.
Divine love
Consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of this center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
I do believe
I do believe
I will receive.
I will receive.
I just have to
I
know
just have to know.
and then declare it to be so with an open mind.
With an open mind.
And just a little bit of time.
Just a little bit of time.
If it serves my highest good, it will be mine. I do believe
I do believe
I will receive.
I will receive.
I just have to know
Just have to know.
and then declare it to be so with an open mind.
With an open
And
mind.
just a little bit of time.
Just a little bit of time.
If it serves my highest good, it will be mine. If it serves my highest good, then it is mine.
I know this morning when we were doing meditation that the love that was coming out of each meditator was filling this room. And it's still here, and it's coming from each and every one of you. And that's why we are all so blessed for this connection. And so it is.
So it is.
For announcements, we had a busy week and a beautiful week. We had a meeting of, and I think it's the first one, the YCSL Expansion Committee had its first meeting. Boy, and this is a group that is given a really important, but a beautiful task to look at our facility, to look at our finances, to see what our needs are in terms of expansion. Whether that's expanding at this facility, whether that's maybe one day when we're ready to have another facility, that they are doing this work to find out what best serves our community. And could everyone who's on the expansion committee please rise and raise your hand so everyone can see who is on the committee? Denise Beloved plus Carrie McCabe, who joins us by phone. She is in Texas. And what they're going to want to do is to hear from you too. What do you want from your building? What do you want in terms of growth? And they'll be asking you, and if you have something to share with them, please let them know. So the work has just begun, and they will be reporting soon. Oh, and I should say, our chairwoman is Carolyn. I'm grateful for that. Carolyn is a longtime member, and she's a former board president here, and she's a former business owner, and she's run big nonprofits. So somebody who we want, and everyone on this committee brings a beautiful gift and beautiful perspective, and it's a nice mix of people who've been here for a long time, people who are here fresh and new, who like new ways of thinking and new ideas as well. So thank you to everyone, and we'll keep reporting back. We'll have Carolyn report back. Thank you. And our class, Spiritual Economics, ended on Tuesday with our traditional presentations of what everybody learned, and they were, as you can expect, fantastic. The people in that class brought so much consciousness, and not just learning, but changing. And I'm a reporter. I'd say, hey, tell me, give me examples of that change. How is this different? How can you apply this in this, that, and that area? And they have. So I'd like you to join me in honoring, for those who are here today, of our spiritual economics graduates. If you would please stand so we can applaud on you. And a handful of more people, they are out running around doing good things in the world. Congratulations and thank you. Class was awesome. And we'll be announcing the next one here pretty soon. We have an appetite for classes, and that is wonderful. And speaking of appetite, it's Appetizer Sunday, savory treats, blessed with our cosmic metaphysical goodness. John has been taking things in and out of the oven, so that'll be ready. Those will be served out in the family room. Please join us. And what a wonderful time to catch up with each other and say hi. And if there's somebody you don't know, go give them a chit chat and get to know them. And we'll have you all full so that you can come also to the board meeting. It's held every third Sunday of every month, and everybody is welcome to come and hear how we use our spiritual tools to arrive at the best decisions for our spiritual community. And it's you, for us. You know, the board doesn't own this place. I don't own this place. It's us. It's you. Like I always say, Air Force One is just an airplane until the president gets on board. Then it becomes Air Force One. This is a beautiful building, a great building, but it becomes Yuma Center for Spiritual Living when you arrive in person and online. So thank you. And I'd like to welcome up, we're still on the board, Miss Elia Madera. Okay?
Yeah. You can share it.
Okay. Elia recently shared with the board that she has, through her spiritual work, felt the calling to step down as president. She has served as a fantastic president, and we've benefited so greatly from this. But what do we also do? When someone says they've done their spiritual mind treatment and this is the direction from God, you say, and so it is. And I'm grateful that Elia has agreed to stay on as the vice president to kind of train and to mentor to the next person. But she's humble, but she's also deserving of such great thanks from all of us for her service and her continued service. So please join me in welcoming her. Part of it, because what she does is real and for the right reason. That's it.
Sure. I wasn't expecting to speak today.
It's not on.
It's not
You
on?
gotta push the button.
Okay.
Hold it down.
Hopefully it'll turn on. There
There
you
we
go. I was not expecting to speak today, so, but I just like to say I'm honored, and I feel so much gratitude for being able to serve on the board. I am staying on until my term ends at the end of December, so I will have fulfilled my first 3 years on the board, knowing that there's the possibility to serve another 3 at some point. You can serve up to 6 years on the board. And I think I joined the board, I started May 2023, I joined the board by October 2023, and became the vice president almost immediately after joining the board, and then stepped in to serve as interim president, and then served as full president for a whole year. And it's been an incredible experience. It's been so much growth, personal, spiritual, professional growth, and I'm very proud of the board that we currently have and that continues to grow, and of all the amazing things that we've been able to do together, and through the donations that we've received from all of our lovely members as well. We've had immense growth, and it continues to grow, especially with our technology. We are reaching so many people outside of Yuma, and that's amazing because we are able to spread the word and the message, and it's not a secret that we're holding on to. It's something that we're sharing with everyone. And recently, life has just taken me on a whole new path, and I've been treating about things and just allowing things to unfold as they do. So I'm grateful that I can still be of service to the center, can still be on the board, and can still serve as vice president to guide whoever steps into that role, and we should be voting on that today. But yeah, I'm just grateful because, like Darin said, it's not about one person, it's not about the board. It is all of us that make this center. It is all of us that make things work, and it's all of us that get things moving and continuing to flow. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
We're going to start beeping. And one of her many, many superpowers, and I won't list them all because we'd be here for a while, you would need snacks, is how inclusive she is. That approach to include everybody in her embrace. So come to the board meeting, yes! And Potluck Sunday next week, think about something fun to bring. Think of all those fun things you're going to have to eat, and it's going to be wonderful. So that is next Sunday, and coming soon, speaking of eating more, on Wednesday, July 29th, is our next takeover. Boy, this is really being shared a lot on Facebook. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for hitting that you're going, because that shows all your friends that you're going, and they're going to say, hey, I want to go with you. And you can hit share and send it to everybody so everyone can know to come and benefit our spiritual center for a takeover. And just as a reminder how that works, we'll receive a percentage of all of their funds brought in between 4 and 8 o'clock that night at El Charro, which is a Yuma landmark, so that's going to be great. So thank you. But instead, or right now, we have the appetizers and the board meeting afterward. Please stay. Please have a good time. And thank you for being here. Thank you for your gift. Let's stand up, end our service in celebration and song. We hope people at home join us in singing.
Come on, let's go. Sure.
Good looking circle.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, Let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Repeat after me, please. Something wonderful is happening in my life right now.
Something wonderful is happening in my life right now.
I know it.
I know it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I accept it.
I accept it.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
So it is.
And so